Hey there! Welcome back to another VHS, Beta, Laserdisc, DVD, and Blu Ray update. I haven't had one where I've had beta tapes and Laserdiscs as well as a bunch of VHS tapes to show you guys, but this is definitely one of those times. Um, there's actually more DVDs that I could show you that I haven't shown you guys yet, but I already have like an insane amount to show you in this video, so I don't want to make it any more insane than it already is. Um, this is my birthday edition. Because my birthday was on May 2nd. I meant to do this video on May 2nd, but you know, it's my birthday. I got caught up with some things, and then the next couple of days I got caught up with a few more things, but you know, also, I just realized I just completely underestimated how much of an undertaking this video is going to be. So I was like, holy shit, this is a lot of stuff. So I'm going to try to go through it as quick as possible because I don't want to keep you guys here forever in a day. But anyway, let's get started with the beta, actually. And I'll show you a couple Laserdiscs that I got. Now, these betas I got in a lot from a friend of mine, and these are all mostly horror. There's one that's like a sci-fi movie. But here we have A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, Wes Craven classic on beta. If Nancy doesn't wake up screaming, she won't wake up at all. It's in really great shape. It's one of my favorite betas, actually, is the original Nightmare on Elm Street. The Initiation, a Thorn EMI release, clamshell. Waxwork, the uncut version. More fun than a barrel of mummies. Stop on by and give Afterlife a try. Now, this one is interesting because, well, I'll just show you what the beta looks like for those of you who are curious. It's what a beta tape looks like. It's technically, basically, a smaller VHS. There's a different technology that's used, a different tape, but it's essentially like a VHS tape. Now, this one has a little bit better of a setup than the Radioactive Dreams beta that I have, which is this one. Now, this one has some really weird. It's just really cheap. What Vestron did for Radioactive Dreams is they just reused an old VHS box, an unused VHS box for Radioactive Dreams, and they just put a beta in it. That just slapped beta on the side, and they're just like, there, it's a beta. And I'm like, this just slides around like crazy because it's meant to fit a VHS, not a beta. But you know, that's a first world problem. But yeah, these are all betas that are in really good shape. Some of my favorite betas, definitely currently in my collection, are definitely these. And I got one more beta. A beta of one of my all-time favorite films. I got this recently, as well as pretty much all of the VHS I'm going to show you. There's a couple of them that I got from a Facebook group, and a couple other ones that I got from buybacks, and I think there might have gotten a couple from a thrift store, but most of them are from this shop in Portland called The Variety Shop. And it is an absolutely insane place. I mean, there's just VHS, Laserdiscs, DVDs. I never really got to checking out all of the DVDs. In fact, I only was able to check out a few of them because, for the most part, I was just checking out all of the VHS because there's just an insane amount of them. And of course, I also got a beta of Inner Space, which I love this film, and I think it's pretty cool. We have a movie that's all about miniaturization, and you have a beta, you know, have it on beta, which is essentially the miniature sort of version of a VHS. So cool. Inner Space on beta. Now we're getting to the VHS. These two I got from a seller on a Facebook group called Cheap VHS for Sale, and it was a crazy good deal, especially for this one, The Kindred. Anthony isn't your typical bottle baby. This is one of my favorite films. I think it's a very underrated movie. I would love to see it get a VHS. I mean, not it already has a VHS release. Duh. I would love to see it get a DVD release or a Blu Ray release. Um, and I would actually like to see the Laserdisc. I would love to have this on Laserdisc because the VHS picture quality on this is not really that great. But for the collection, I'm definitely glad I have it. I want to review this again sometime as well because my other review is with my old camera. It was a long time ago, and it was pretty short, and I think I could do a much better job. But that's the Kindred. Here we have Munchies. Now, this is a film that a good friend of mine, Matt, Rambo Rat for Life, he's a fan of this. It's kind of like a guilty pleasure of his. Um, yeah, I decided to get it for the collection. I have Munchie Strikes Back. I might as well have Munchies. Now, here's some that I got from buybacks. They're all 50 cents. We have Magic in the Water with Mark Harmon and Joshua Jackson. Big Girls Don't Cry, They Get Even. If you are at all familiar with or you remember the VHS, the 1990 Ninja Turtles live action movie, you'll probably recognize this movie because the trailer for this was before the tape. Killing Cars with Jurgen Prochnow. King of the Mountain with Dennis Hopper and Harry Hamlin and Joseph Bottoms. Steel Arena, a film that's directed by Mark L. Lester. Silver Wolf, a family adventure movie starring Michael Biehn and Roy Scheider. And now, the rest of these are pretty much all the ones I got from the variety shop. We got The Enemy Within with Forrest Whitaker. It's a TV movie. It was an HBO TV movie. Film called The Big Hurt. A movie about marathon running called On the Edge, starring Bruce Dern. Which is actually pretty hard to find now. The DVD's out of print. VHS is out of print. Looked interesting. That's why I picked it up. We got Double Crossed with Dennis Hopper. Josh and Sam. Mean Streak with Scott Bakula and Leon. It's basically The Fan, but with these two guys. Made for cable reboot or remake of The Fan. Dealers with Rebecca De Mornay and Paul McGann. A Father's Revenge with Brian Dennehy and Ron Silver. Blind Vengeance with Gerald McRaney. Dead Tides with Roddy Piper and Tawny Katane. Act of Vengeance, a very lesser known Charles Bronson movie. It also has Wilford Brimley in the cast. Total Reality with David Bradley. The Expert with Jeff Speakman. The Man Inside with Jurgen Prochnow. Payoff, starring Keith Carradine and Kim Greist. Beyond Forgiveness with Thomas Ian Griffith, Rutger Hauer, and John Rhys Davies. Handgun with Treat Williams. Livewire, Human Time Bomb, starring Brian Genesee. Blood of the Hunter with Michael Biehn. Seamus, starring Burt Reynolds. Cold Justice, starring Roger Daltrey and Dennis Waterman. Hard Justice, starring David Bradley. Scott Glenn in a film called Intrigue. Donald Sutherland and Tim Matheson in a TV movie called Quicksand, No Escape. Brotherhood of the Rose, starring Robert Mitchum and Peter Strauss. Judicial Consent, starring Bonnie Bedelia. Future Force, starring Jeff Wincott, Maria Ford. Maria Ford and Stacy Keach. Perfect Murder, John Bonet and the City of Perfect Town. Perfect Murder, Perfect Town, John Bonet and the City of Boulder, based on the John Benet Ramsey case. Snitch, starring Marlee Matlin and William McNamara. The Neptune Factor, coming soon, hosted by Jamie Lee Curtis. First Degree, starring Rob Lowe. Chasing Sleep with Jeff Daniels. The MacGuffin with Charles Dance. This is one that really sounded interesting to me. I'd never heard of this film before. I really like the idea behind it. Charles Dance is a lead, and he's not a villain, which is nice. He plays a character named Paul Hatcher, who lives for movies. He's held spellbound. His world is a mixture of fantasy and reality. And this scene was better than any movie he had ever screened. It was really happening. So like any Hitchcock character would, Hatcher reaches for his camera, but he isn't quick enough. The blinds are drawn. The ladies have vanished. So pretty much, it's a thriller starring Charles Dance where he ends up becoming embroiled in a Hitchcockian type of scenario, much like his favorite films. So yeah, I'm really curious about that one. Tactical Assault with Rutger Hauer and Robert Patrick. John Stamos and Born to Ride. Brian Dennehy and Michael Riley in To Catch a Killer. This is the shortened version of a TV miniseries where Brian Dennehy plays infamous serial killer John Wayne Gacy. Baby Monitor, Sound of Fear, just because, I mean, the title alone, I mean, it's probably a piece of shit, but I don't know, it's just the title alone just has me kind of curious. Like, what is a movie called Baby Monitor, Sound of Fear like? Ambition with Lou Diamond Phillips. I think this is an underrated movie. I really like it, so I wanted to get another copy of it. And Dead Ahead, the Exxon Valdez disaster, starring Christopher Lloyd and John Hurd, all about the Exxon Valdez oil spill. Another one I'd never heard of. The Jigsaw Man with Michael Caine. I almost said Michael Keaton. Michael Caine and Laurence Olivier. Hitman's Run with Eric Roberts. And Fatal Blade, starring Gary Daniels. So that's it for the VHS. There's a lot this time around, like close to over 40 from that one place alone, and a few other ones from some other places. Then we have a couple Laserdiscs. We have Dance with Death. You gotta love that cover art. I mean, look at that. That's one big gun. And Rooftops. So that is it for the VHS and the Laserdiscs. Now we're getting to DVDs and Blu-rays. I'm just going to start randomly pulling from a couple of the piles I have here. I have 4 separate piles here of DVDs, so I'm going to try to go through them as fast as possible, so I don't want this video to be an hour long. Trailer Park of Terror, Storm of the Century, Jack Ketchum's The Girl Next Door, Wind Chill, Below Zero with Edward Furlong and Michael Berryman, Hard Vice with Shannon Tweed and Sam J. Jones. It's one of those early Scimitar releases that were like a cardboard sleeve like this, and the DVD was in a jewel case, a jewel CD case. I like getting these because they're unique kind of collector's item. Friday Night Lights, film I've heard of but actually haven't seen. The Entity with Barbara Hershey. Lair of the White Worm. I know there's a Blu Ray out there. I need to watch the film before I want to buy a Blu Ray of that. Dark House with Jeffrey Combs. It looks like a Night of the Demons sequel from the cover art there. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I've heard a lot of good things about that one. I just haven't seen it yet. Snitch with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Enter the Dangerous Mind. Looper. Silent Rage. This, okay, the picture quality is fine, but this is a lie. It says widescreen and full screen. There is no widescreen version. The widescreen version right here is just the full screen version. And I've been trying to find this for the longest time, and I finally found it, and it's just a full screen version. So it's disappointing. There's absolutely no difference between the supposed widescreen version of Silent Rage and the full screen release. The Evil That Men Do, Charles Bronson. Mr. Baseball with Tom Selleck. Wrath of the Titans. Cameron Romero, Staunton Hill. It's directed by the son of George A. Romero. Stone Cold Steve Austin in Tactical Force. I think I have that one already, but I didn't really realize it until too late. Sudden Death with Van Damme, because the other one that I had, the case was in kind of rough shape. It needs a widescreen release. I think it's on Blu Ray. But yeah. Unnatural Causes with John Ritter. It's about Agent Orange. Never heard of the film before. That looked interesting. Kids. A film that is surprisingly incredibly rare. Trapper County War. This DVD goes for over $60 online on Amazon. I got it for $1.50. It's probably a piece of shit, but you know, I like finding gold like this. I do. And it's in really good shape, and it's got Ernie Hudson in the cast, as well as Bo Hopkins and a few other people. So definitely worth a shot someday down the road. Just getting some more. I'm not even done, folks. Not even close. Scarecrow and Scarecrow Slayer double feature. Scarecrow Gone Wild. So I have all the Scarecrow movies. The 2-disc special edition of The Shawshank Redemption. A film that, yes, surprisingly, I have not seen yet. And I know I should, but I just haven't got around to seeing it yet. And I was kind of waiting till I could get my hands on this, and now I have it, so it's good. I got it for like $1.50. One False Move that has Bill Paxton in the cast. The Peacemaker with George Clooney and Nicole Kidman. Special with Michael Rappaport. Spy. I didn't mind the film. Especially Jason Statham. He was hilarious, and it was only $1. Glengarry Glen Ross. Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street. I actually saw a live performance on the stage, a stage show performance of Sweeney Todd in Portland. Portland, Oregon, for my acting class when I was taking some acting classes and theater classes at Clark College. Double Jeopardy with Tommy Lee Jones and Ashley Judd. St. Vincent with Bill Murray and Melissa McCarthy, Naomi Watts. National Lampoon's European Vacation. Not really the biggest fan of this, but it's for the vacation collection. One of these days I'd like to re-review these, maybe sometime in the summer, because my reviews of them are extremely old and I had to delete some of them for copyright. Super 8. Frank and Jesse with Bill Paxton and Rob Lowe. The Nun. The Covenant, Brotherhood of Evil with Edward Furlong. Double Dragon. It was $2 for the video game movie collection. It's not a very good movie, but it's $2. The Wizard of Oz 2-disc. I haven't seen this film in years, but I remember watching this quite a bit on VHS when I was a kid, so it's nice to get this on DVD. The Sicilian with Christopher Lambert. Tears of the Sun Special Edition with Bruce Willis. The Name of the Rose with Sean Connery and F. Murray Abraham. Impulse with Meg Tilly and Tim Matheson. And a early bit role by Bill Paxton. La Seta, aka The Devil's Daughter. This is not on DVD in the US, but this is a Italian release and it's region free, so pick this up, and it has the English version of the film and everything. This is one of those films that's on the Fangoria's 101 Most Unheralded Horror Films list. So, yeah, one of these days I should really just do that. Like, instead of trying to finish up because I definitely want to do horror films of the 80s, but maybe I should just go in and do that. Because it's only 101 movies then. It's not, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe. Because eventually I do want to watch all those films on that list. At least the ones I haven't seen. The Millennium Bug. The Awakening. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the film, but it was $1.50 and it was a good deal for the collection. And I really like this cover art. The Unholy. I got this off a group a while back and it was a good deal, but now Vestron is releasing a collector series of this and I would like to get it. So I might do something with this. Because the collector series is going to blow this away because it's going to have a ton of features. And I never thought in a million years this movie would have a Blu Ray loaded with features. So, yeah, I definitely want to get my hands on the Vestron Collector Series Blu Ray of The Unholy. Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, Special Deluxe Collector's Edition DVD. The original Bourne Identity with Richard Chamberlain. This is a pretty pricey DVD, and I got it at a thrift store for like $2. Blacktop with Meatloaf. Stay Tuned. Now, Blacktop, this actually looks really interesting. It deals with a girl who hitches a ride with a trucker, played by Meatloaf, but he's no ordinary trucker. She's hitched a ride on an 18-wheel slaughterhouse and hooked up with a one-man killing machine. So, I like that idea of a trucker who has like a slaughterhouse in the back of his truck. And yeah, I'm definitely curious about that film. National Lampoon's Vegas Vacation for the Vacation Collection. Bloodsport 4, The Dark Kumite. Yeah, it was a Goodwill find. It was cheap. This was $1 at a pawn shop. That's the only reason why I got this. It was $1 for the first 3 Resident Evil films. So if I ever get around to reviewing those movies, I have them. The Sick House with Gina Phillips. Timeline, Richard Donner film. Escape to Witch Mountain 2 movie collection with the original Escape to Witch Mountain and Return from Witch Mountain. Still not done, folks. I still got a lot. Epoch. It's a screener. Epoch Evolution, the sequel. Yeah, a franchise that nobody probably even remembers or let alone knows exists. Yeah, there's 2 Epoch movies. But there can't be a Dread 2. But there can be 2 fucking Epoch films. The Houses That October Built. Crave. The Damned. Runaway. I finally have this. And speaking of things I finally have, Drive. The Special Collector's Edition. Drive with Mark Dacascos. This is, I believe this is region free, so you can get this off Amazon UK for pretty cheap. And, yeah, you should, because this is a good movie. I'd love to get a Blu Ray of this, though, with interviews with Tom Selleck and commentary. Well, you can't have a commentary with Michael Crichton because he passed away. But maybe some other stuff. That would be nice. Maybe some other interviews with some of the cast and crew. Some vintage behind-the-scenes stuff. Maybe talk to Gene Simmons about his role in it. I know I'd buy it. Caught up with Bokeem Woodbine. Road Fury collection. It was cheap. It was like $1. The only reason why I got it is for Steel Frontier with Joe Lara. Freeway, a film I've been really curious about for a long time, and I got it for dirt cheap from some guy online. This is an out-of-print DVD, and actually it looks pretty decent, actually. James Russo, Billy Drago, Richard Belzer. Fatal Attraction, Special Collector's Edition. Silent Hill for the video game movie collection. Brian Loves You, which has George Wendt in it. Lone Hero with Lou Diamond Phillips and Sean Patrick Flannery. Case in 39 with Renee Zellweger. Sheena with Tanya Roberts. Vampires The Turning. Still not there yet. I know. I know, it's a lot. There's even more. I just gotta wait for another video to do that. Be Cool, the sequel to Get Shorty. Christina's House. The Blair Witch Project. The Conjuring 2. Got that as a pawn shop for like $3. Infamy. The Best of Times with Robin Williams and Kurt Russell. Really glad to finally have that on DVD. I'm like one of the few people who's a really big fan of that film. Tales from the Crypt Ritual. This is the original Dimension release, not the Mill Creek re-release. The Presidio with Mark Harmon and Sean Connery. The Haunting. It was $1, and it's for whenever I decide to review the Haunting films. Leaving Las Vegas with Nicolas Cage, the film we won an Academy Award for, Best Actor. Sanctum, a film I've been wanting to see for years, but never got around to doing it. I like underwater movies, so I just, for some reason, had never really gotten around to seeing it. Flesh and Bone, a Dennis Quaid film I had never heard of until I found this for like $1. Dennis Quaid, James Caan, Meg Ryan. The trailer, actually, is really interesting. Looks pretty good, actually. Great cast. Without a Clue with Michael Caine and Ben Kingsley. Boomerang with Eddie Murphy. Underrated Eddie Murphy comedy, in my opinion. Fear with Marky Mark and his Funky Bunch. May. Angela Bettis. The Sender. Roger Christian film. The Initiation with Daphne Zuniga. I know there's an Arrow video release, but I'm okay with the Anchor release. Burial Ground, Nights of Terror for the Horror Films of 1980 collection. Raise with Zoe Bell, Rachel Nichols. Full Impact with Gary Daniels. Backflash with Robert Patrick and Jennifer Esposito. The Demented. The Beast. Deadly Target, another Gary Daniels film. Buster, the acting debut of Phil Collins. The Unnameable 2, yeah, for certain, yep. A Lionsgate release, but there's no release for the first film. But there's Unnameable 2. So bizarre. Raw Target with Dale Apollo Cook. Brown's Requiem with Michael Rooker and Selma Blair. How I Got Into College. Absalom with Christopher Lambert and Lou Diamond Phillips. And Ron Perlman. Asylum with Robert Patrick and Malcolm McDowell. Charles Sheen in Postmortem. Point of Origin with Ray Liotta and John Leguizamo. This looked really interesting. It's a movie about arsonists. It's about these detectives are trying to track down an arsonist. And I like films like that. There aren't very many movies like that about arson. Zero Tolerance with Robert Patrick. I'm so excited about getting this on DVD. I couldn't even say the title. It's like Zero Tolerance. I didn't even know this is even on DVD, but apparently it is. I'm glad, because this is a pretty good movie. Pretty underrated film. A lot of good action. Robert Patrick is great in it. Clean Slate with Dana Carvey. Fair Game. This is a out-of-print image release of, I believe, a foreign film. Split Decisions with Gene Hackman and Craig Sheffer and Jennifer Beals. It's an alright boxing movie. State of Emergency with Joe Mantegna. It was quite a stretch there. Raw Heat with Pierce Brosnan, Joe Beth Williams, and Virginia Madsen. Pierce Brosnan film that nobody talks about. Maybe for good reason, but I mean, that cast is cheap too. Killing Mr. Griffin with Amy Jo Johnson from Power Rangers, the Pink Rangers in that one. Malevolence. And we got 2 more stacks, and then we're done. These are some flicks I got sent to me by some of my friends, some of my subs. Beauty and the Beast on Blu Ray. Squirm Collector's Edition from Scream Factory. These were all sent to me by Jonathan L. Invaders from Mars. Scream Factory release. Leon the Professional. Blu Ray. These were sent to me by a good friend of mine named Mike M. American Mary on Blu Ray. Thank you so much. I'm a big fan of this one. Glad to have it on Blu Ray. Batman Under the Red Hood. Heard a lot of good things about that one. Glad to have that for the collection. Trick or Treat, I already have it, but you know what? I'll keep this. I'll sell the other one. And House on Haunted Hill remake. I have it already, but I'll keep this because this case is in much better shape than the one that I have. It's all battered and torn up and everything. So it works out. Trying to get some more here. All right. Batman, Mask of the Phantasm. Really glad to have this for the collection. Screamers. Finally, I got my hands on the widescreen release of this. This needs a Blu Ray release. This is an underrated, really great film. And it's hard to find. It's out of print. You could find the shitty sequel a lot easier than you can this film. This needs a re-release. Somebody needs to do something with this. Scream Factory, Shaft Factory, Kino Lorber, whoever. Somebody needs to get the rights to this. I don't even care if it's Mill Creek. Somebody needs to get this on Blu-ray so more people can access it, because this is a great film. Double feature I got for $1 with Gung Ho and Jimmy Hollywood. Mainly got it for Gung Ho for the Michael Keaton collection. The Scout with Brendan Fraser and Albert Brooks. A 4-movie collection Mill Creek pack with The Freshman, Holy Moses, Vice Versa, and A Fine Mess. Dracula 2000. I have this in a 3-pack with the other 2 films, but this I wanted to get this one separately because it has a bunch of features on it. Ideally, I'd like to get all of them separately, to be honest. but, you know, it depends. Severance. Depends if I can find them. It's the main thing. Bad Company with Anthony Hopkins and Chris Rock. The Raid 2. The Saint with Val Kilmer and Elizabeth Shue. Fair Game with William Baldwin and Cindy Crawford. A Man Apart with Vin Diesel. Mel Gibson and Payback. Baby Blood. This is another film that's from the Fangoria's 101 Most Inherited Horror Films list. This is out of print. As far as I know, the only release that you can get is this Anchor Bay DVD. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a pretty trippy film. So, I mean, Fangoria even says it's a Gorehound's Delight on the cover. So it would be a nice re-release for somebody to re-release this. Maybe Synapse or somebody. North Shore. Black Eagle was $1. It's for the Van Damme collection. I love this poster. This is not from Black Eagle. This is clearly not from Black Eagle. The transfer is actually not that bad either, surprisingly. Dead Again, which has a nice cameo by Robin Williams in it. I like the idea of it. Reincarnation thriller. And we got a couple more DVDs here. And then in this stack, and then I got one last stack that has some box sets and stuff, and then we're done. Better Off Dead with John Cusack, and Dear God with Greg Kinnear. Now we're to the home stretch. We're on the home stretch now, folks. This is something I got a long time ago, but I don't know if I've ever shown it in a video. Street Hawk, the complete series. This is a pretty cool show. The very catchy theme song. Bow, 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 bow. Shout Factory release. I believe this is out of print. And, yeah. I got this when I was in Oklahoma City. I bought it at I think it was FYE, or was that the name of the store there? But I did. I bought it at the DVD store there. Swamp Thing, the series. This has seasons 1 and 2 all in one set. Season 3, for some reason, is split into parts, and there is no part 2. So, well, there was, but it was only released in very limited quantities and is extremely hard to get. So, if you want to get season 3 of Swamp Thing, the series, you're going to have to torrent it, pretty much, because there's no other option, or bootleg it somehow. X-Men Volume 1 of X-Men in the Animated Series, Volume 2 of X-Men in the Animated Series, and Volume 5 of X-Men Animated Series. All I need now to complete my X-Men Animated Series set is Volumes 3 and 4. I'd like to get those someday. Disney released these, but didn't do Spider-Man for some reason. I still don't get it. I'll never get it. I'll never understand why. Well, they also did stuff with Darkwing Duck, where they haven't even released Season 3. They have not released Season 3. They've released Seasons 1 and 2 on DVD, but they have not released Season 3. Unsolved Mysteries set of Ghosts. Got this for cheap. Usually this retails for at least $50 used on eBay. And I got this for $22. Because I keep watching the eBay listings like a hawk to try to get good deals on these Unsolved Mysteries sets. And that was a hell of a deal. And it's in decent shape. It's got some scuffs. It's got some stuff. But, you know, for $22, I'm not going to complain. I basically saved over $30, you know, getting this for the price that I got it. So it's really cool. And those are only going to go up in price because even though Unsolved Mysteries is on Amazon Prime, that's the only way to get a physical release of the show. Here we have House, the collection, which is a Arrow Video collection series. Apparently this is already out of print. I saw something that's already out of print. I pre-ordered this a while back because I definitely want to get my hands on this. because this actually has all 4 House films, a bunch of features, and apparently it also is region free of the Blu-rays. I mean, the first 2 are region free, but 3 and 4 are region free too. So we have House, the first film, ton of features. House 2, the second story. House 3, the horror show, which this has the uncut version. House 4, the repossession, which is a really shitty film, but for the House collection, all right, cool. It comes with this book, hardcover book. Man, Arrow Video is just, they're awesome. I mean, they're honestly my favorite company. Scream Factory's kind of slipping a bit. Arrow is still really consistent for me, and this is a really cool set. So really glad to have this for the collection. This house box set, and it was a great price too. I got it off of Amazon.uk for like $30 or something. Yeah, it was a little bit over $30 shipped. Almost the same price as, actually it was cheaper getting this from Amazon UK than it would be to get the first 2 films, the House, you know, the 2 Stories collection that was released in the US. And I've saved what you might consider to be the best for last, the Phantasm collection. With Angus Grimm and everyone else, and this is the Well Go Entertainment box set. I got this instead of the Arrow Video release. Originally, I was going to go with Arrow Video, but I went with Well Go, the new guy, because I just really liked the presentation of this set better. I don't need a replica of the Sphere. I don't need any of that shit. And I like the fact that I have them separately and in their own cases with the original poster art. So I really like that. So we have the Phantasm, Phantasm 2, which is just a Scream Factory release, but that's fine. I mean, you know, it would have been nice to have a little bit extra stuff, but, you know, it is what it is. Phantasm doesn't have a lot of extra stuff either, but has some decent things on it. Now, there are some differences between, there's Phantasm 3, Lord of the Dead. This disc has a lot more features than the Arrow release does. With the Arrow box set, you have Phantasms 1 and 2 have more features than this set. But Phantasm 3 and 4 have more features on this set, and there's like a bonus disc that has a little bit extra. So, I mean, honestly, I prefer this set, not only because of the presentation, but because it actually has a little bit more in terms of features than the Arrow release. Although I would like to see some of the Arrow features if somebody, you know, was gracious enough and put them online. I'd definitely check them out. But I'm happy with this set. Phantasm 4, Oblivion. One day down the road, I might review this set in a video. Phantasm 5, it'll be like late. A lot of people probably already did their review, but, you know, I don't know if they do it as in-depth as mine. I'm not just going to show the Blu-ray. Like, I'm going to review every single feature and all of that. This is the booklet that comes with the set. It's pretty cool. Ties in with, it's a Phantasm compendium. If I want to read more about Phantasm, I can just grab my Phantasm Exhumed book. And then it also comes with a poster, which is double-sided. So you can go with the poster art for the cover of the Blu-ray. So you can go with this. I might put some of these posters up. I have like more of these Scream Factory posters, this kind of stuff up. I might put some of these up sometime. Or you could go with the Phantasm Remastered one. Although I prefer the cover art, the one like right here. So yeah, that's the Phantasm collection, and that is it for this update. Thank you for hanging out with me for over 40 minutes. I wanted it to be shorter than this, but you know, realistically, that just wasn't possible, considering all of the stuff that I had to show you guys. But anyway, thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you guys later. See ya.